just creating better content is not going to grow your content business in 2024 the same way that it did back in 2020. But if you sell the right thing, you can actually 4x your pricing, just like my client Andrew did. As I'm sure you've noticed, the competition in the content industry is higher than it ever has been before, which means it's more difficult to close clients, charge more per client, and also just keep your clients on retainer. We have sites like Upwork and Fiverr where people are charging really cheap rates for services that you probably currently provide. We have UGC marketplaces where people are charging like $50 for a video, and then brands are going and running ads on it and making millions. And just in general, clients are becoming more savvy and more adept at actually building out content strategies and understanding what actually works on social. And ultimately, there's just more competition in general because the cost to get in for a creator is just the cost of a cell phone. And obviously, there's a lot more skill than just pointing and shooting and press and record, but the barrier to entry is super low, meaning there's a super high level of competition. And to be honest, I've tried almost every content model offer I could think of over the past 5 years of working with companies like Royal Caribbean, Four Seasons, Marriott, and a whole lot more. And to be honest, my content model has evolved almost every single year to evolve with the industry norms. So I'm going to give you what I believe to be the best content offer in 2024 that you should be selling if you want to minimum 2 to 3x what you're currently charging and also leave the rest of the competition in the dust. So like I mentioned before, my client Andrew went from charging $400 to $1,600 to the exact same client just by offering something better. And by the way, he didn't just 4x his pricing, but if this client stays on retainer the entire year, that's almost $20,000 for one single client just by changing his offer. And since then, he's even pitched $3,000 a month retainers to clients that didn't even bat an eye and chose to go with him because his offer was so valuable. So stay tuned because I'm going to break down 3 different variations of this offer that will radically transform your content business and will probably make you a whole lot more money. So before we get into the specific offers, I kind of want to break down the evolution of how my offer has changed just to use as an illustration for how you can kind of identify industry trends yourself. So I started my career back in 2018 as a freelancer. I was basically shooting anything. I just wanted to get paid to shoot content. I knew that I was good at photo, I was good at video, and I'd grown my Instagram following to like 10,000 followers. So I had a bit of an idea of like what kind of content actually worked and what people engaged with. And that was kind of my skill set. So during that time, I kind of realized as well that most clients' attitudes towards content was just like, we're going to put something up to make sure that we look good, or we just are going to put something up to kind of check the box. At that point, it was a lot of emphasis on really high quality photography, as well as kind of like cinematic films. Like think the Taylor cut films, the Sam Colder, like all that kind of stuff was really starting to take off in that 2016 to like 2018 range. So that's kind of the direction that a lot of these content offers were going. So if you look back at the types of stuff I was shooting at the time, it was kind of all over the place. I was doing brands, I was doing weddings, portraits, like all kinds of stuff. But all the branded stuff I was doing was photo retainers for the most part. So I would be on a retainer where I'd take a product to a location, take 10 photos or something like that, send it to the brand. I'd charge them $500 or $400, and that was kind of it. And that is kind of how I got my introduction into the branding photography. And that kind of kept me in that freelance stage. So fast forward to 2019, this is when video kind of started to come on the scene a little bit more for social media, as well as for websites that brands were kind of using. So you had like IGTV come out. You also had, I think TikTok was starting to come out just at the end of 2019. So we kind of started to have a little bit more of that longer form short video, I guess I would call it. A lot of people called this like the Instagram glory days of like 2018, 2019, where just you could post anything, and as long as it looked really good, it probably got really high engagement. So that's where a lot of brands were going. They were trying to get the best looking content, be consistent, and that usually kind of grew their account just based on the algorithm. So at that time, the demand for high quality content was pretty fairly high, and there was still not a huge amount of competition there because it was such a new kind of budding industry. But on top of that, there was not many creators who really specialized in video or even knew how to do video. So me as a guy who went to film school, who kind of had a background in video, it was a really easy sell for me to go to brands and say, hey, I can make you, a sizzle reel, or I can make you a video ad, or I can make you an IGTV, because that was actually something that people were looking for at the time, that a lot of creators just were kind of still in that 2018 phase of focusing on just photos. So it went kind of that way for a little bit. And then in 2020, obviously TikTok took off like crazy. And I think IG Reels kind of started to take off a little bit. They were doing like the Reels incentive program to get people to post, and they were paying them like a certain amount of money per view that they got or whatever. So in general, people started to realize that video is becoming more engaging. So a lot more creators started to learn video, and specifically UGC short form video. So instead of like the 1 minute cinematic cuts, it was actually pushing more towards more of a natural feel where you're just kind of like filming on your iPhone. And it's not like that doesn't take skill, because it absolutely does to be able to build up the story, but it's just kind of the visual aesthetic that kind of changed. And then on top of that, because of the whole pandemic situation where people were at home, some of these companies started to realize that they can't rely on some of these legacy media advertising things that they were doing in the past. And so many people are just scrolling on social media and they have short attention spans. So there's a huge opportunity for them to get in front of these people. But because they didn't really know how at that stage, they were actually starting to hire social media managers, people that specialized in creating strategy around this kind of stuff, where they had the different hashtag strategies and content strategies and all this kind of stuff. They actually had an in-house position where people actually focused on this stuff. So at that stage, again, video was taking off. So I started really going into selling video retainers, where we were selling Reels packages or short form packages, or even just one-off. So like sometimes companies would just want to kind of test with it and see how it would work. So I was selling a lot of one-off, kind of more UGC style at that point as well. And then we get into probably what I would say the last 2 years were. So maybe 2021 to 2023, somewhere in that range. So this is when obviously short form video became absolutely huge. A lot of these videos were trending like, you know, in the 10 to 15 second range. This is when you started to have more complex strategies where brands were actually thinking about the content they were putting out versus just shooting something that looks pretty. And obviously there's a lot of brands that are still stuck in the 2020 phase or even the 2019 phase, but this is kind of the direction the industry was going for the past 2 years. So UGC was huge, having people that weren't necessarily like models per se, but more like relatable everyday people. Lifestyle content in general, people want to be able to put themselves in the shoes of someone actually experiencing the brand or the resort. Those are other huge things that have been trending for the past 2 years. And just in general, the clients over the last 2 years have become much more savvy in terms of what kind of content works, how to source creators. So that's when you start seeing a lot of people getting free collabs. Like you've even seen, you know, entire Instagram pages coming out on how to get free trips, how to get free product, like all this kind of stuff, right? So these clients are starting to realize, oh wait, we can get people to do our content for free. They're highly talented. They know how to create video that looks good. And that's kind of the direction a lot of these companies are going. So what I started to realize is that because clients kind of know the direction of social media, they have access to lots of talented creatives. It's no longer about how good my content is necessarily. It's more so about, can I solve the entire gap that the client is facing, where, you know, yes, they need content, but what else do they need in that phase? And that's why I started to kind of get more into the strategy side of things. So as you can see, over the past 5 years, really, my content offer has evolved significantly in terms of how I'm speaking to the client, but also what I'm even offering. And the thing most creatives don't realize is that you're actually in business because a client is hiring you, and the reason they're hiring you is because they have a specific problem in their business that they want you to solve. And if you can't identify what that problem is that you're actually solving, then that's when you end up getting stuck in the free collab land or getting super cheap projects. So you have to be able to identify exactly what that thing is that your content offers solve. I mean, if I was selling the same packages that I was selling in 2018 and 2019 today, I'd probably be out of business because most clients don't need a package of 5 or 10 photos that they can post on Instagram. That's not what they need these days. So the moral of the story here is you always have to be ahead of the curve and kind of anticipating what the client actually needs, what problem they're going to have, and how you can actually solve it with your content. And ultimately, that's how you stay in business long term, is by beating out the rest of the competition who's still using the same tactics, still talking about the same things that maybe worked back in 2019, 2020, but are not actually solving the problem today. So that's kind of my offer journey and how it's kind of shifted and evolved over the years. And I'm about to get into the 3 variations of the offer that I would sell if I were you in 2024. But before I do that, I just want to expose the top 3 reasons that I see most content offers fail. And to be honest, if you continue doing this, you're going to be absolutely destroyed by the competition like me or other professional content creators who have this dialed in. So the first thing is that you have a lack of niche. And I know this is a hot topic. A lot of people are going to be like, well, I don't want to be boxed into a certain type of client. I get it. You want to be creative. You want to keep your options open. But if you serve everyone, you actually serve no one. So here's the deal. If you're trying to get a high budget client or a very prestigious client that's very specific in a certain industry, they're going to want to hire a specialist, which means you need to know what they talk about, who their demographic is, what they care about, why they would hire somebody, what their marketing initiatives are, where they kind of get their leads. You need to know all of this stuff. And if you don't know it, then you're just another freelancer, another guy who can take a picture that they can get for free, or they can price shop against everyone else. So in essence, you need to know how to create a very specific tailored solution just for them. If you can't do that, then you become trapped in what I call the creative slave flywheel, where essentially you can't charge enough because you're not specialized enough to that certain industry. So just to give you a tangible example, let's say you own an Audi and you need to find a specific part for the engine. Chances are you're not going to go to Walmart because you're not going to find the part and they're not going to know how to fix it. So instead, you're going to go to a German car auto body store, right? Because there's a higher perceived likelihood that they'll actually have the part and they'll actually know how to service your vehicle because they're specialized in Audis. And because they're such a specialized store, they have the pricing power to be able to charge basically whatever they want because they know no one else is providing this similar solution. So in the same way as creatives, if we're just generalized and we can kind of do whatever, then we're going to be paid like the Walmart, the person that can do whatever. But if we're highly specialized and we work with a very specific type of client, get a very specific type of result, then guess what? We have much higher pricing power because we have a higher perceived likelihood of actually getting that result for that client. The second thing is kind of similar, but it's that you have a lack of focus. So when you do anything or everything for everyone, then it's hard to create a process around success. And on top of that, you can't confidently communicate that method of success to a potential client. So when we're talking sales, all you're doing is it's a transference of confidence, right? So you're not really selling a service, you're just selling confidence that your service is actually going to get the result that somebody wants. A phrase that I really like is simple scales, fancy fails, or in this case, you could say simple scales, complex fails. So your specific client avatar you talk to has to be specific. That's why we talk about having a niche. You have to have a very specific tailored solution to that client, and you have to have a simple way of communicating that so you can make selling a whole lot easier. So it's got to be simple to explain, it's got to be simple to sell, and it's got to be simple to actually execute and fulfill on. Because ultimately, if you're confused, the buyer is going to be confused, and confused people never buy. And the last thing is that your offer is not results focused. So like I said before, you can't just create content. You have to create content that is geared towards achieving a specific result. So that result might not always be revenue focused. Sometimes it might be engagement, it might be followers, it might be new leads, it might be positive conversations. It could be all kinds of different things, but it has to be tailored to a very specific outcome. And then what you sell is the process to be able to get to that outcome. It has to be real simple. So what I use is, it's called my creator process. I break it down and it's super simple to explain to clients. Or for example, when I work with creator clients, like for example, I have my precision prospecting framework, which is really easy to explain, where you get it right away. It doesn't take a whole lot of complex explanation. So the first year to year and a half of me working on my content business, I would consider myself, again, a freelancer, but I was a complete generalist. I basically took on any project I could possibly take on, and I was doing weddings, I was doing portraits, I was doing brands, I was doing some travel related stuff. I was doing all kinds of things just because I was taking on any project I could. And to be honest, that was okay for that season of life I was in because I was still kind of like trying to figure out what I like. But I will say that my income also reflected the kind of scatterbrained methodology that I was running my business on. I didn't have any processes in place. I didn't have any like results-based offer. I was just kind of shooting for whatever. So therefore I couldn't charge a whole lot. So at that time, really my pitch was, hey, I can create content for you. I can do video, I can do photo, I can do whatever you need. That was kind of my pitch. So since then, I have really hyper-tailored my pitch to be completely different than that and hyper-tailored on a very specific audience. So now my pitch is more like, I help luxury resorts increase their profits by reducing their commission fees through my social accelerator program. So this is specialized. I'm talking specifically to luxury resorts. It's focused because I have a process that's repeatable. My social accelerator program, I know exactly what I'm going to do and exactly what I'm going to implement that's worked for clients in the past. And lastly, it's results focused. I am helping drive profits and reduce commission fees. That's the result. So that being said, if that's kind of my mission statement or what I call my brand bridge statement, then the next phase is let's create an offer around it. So an offer really has to solve every single pain point that a potential client will have. So we talked about how most clients now, like they can have other creators create really high quality content for them. And maybe they can even, have a social media manager kind of post and kind of manage the page for them. But a few things that most clients will not have is a strategy. They won't have a process around scripting, a process around editing, or just a process around what they even post. They don't really have a whole lot of thought into we're posting this for this specific reason. We have these brand pillars. Like that's not really a thought process that a lot of clients have at this stage of the game. So that's something that we can actually sell because it solves a lot of problems for the brand. So let me show you kind of an example of what that offer might look like. So the first content variation is what I call my quarterly content haul. And this is essentially when we shoot a quarter or 3 months worth of content in one go around. So for resorts, this is typically like 3 to 5 days. For brands, it might be more like 2 to 3, maybe 4 days, depending on what you're trying to do. But that's basically creating all the content in one go around. Now, before we create all the content, we have to have a strategy going into this. So we'll jump on a strategy call with the client, kind of decipher what direction they want to go with the content, who their demographic is, what kind of marketing angles we can have, what are their brand pillars, all that kind of stuff so we have an idea going into it. Then based off of the strategy that we kind of deciphered, now we can create scripts or storyboards or mood boards or ideas, kind of outlines for each video so that we know exactly where they fit for each brand pillar that we're trying to hit. And then obviously we go out there and we shoot the content and and we cut it into between 30 to maybe 75 videos, depending on what package you want to sell. So a client has between 10 to maybe even 25 videos every single month that they can post consistently without even having to think about it. So what do we solve with this? We solve them knowing what to post, them actually writing the script and knowing what kind of frameworks work. And then lastly, we actually give them a consultation on how they can use this content. So it's not like we just give it to them and say, have a nice day, which is what most creators do, but we actually give them ideas in terms of how they can structure their content posting schedule or hashtag to use, like all that kind of stuff. So what problems are we solving with this? Well, the time problem of not having enough time to create all this content, the strategy component of not really knowing what to post, why to post it, why it matters, all those kind of things, the scripting of just like the time aspect of scripting, but also knowing what to say, how to present videos, all that kind of stuff, frameworks of not knowing what proven frameworks to use based on the videos, and editing and just knowing what to do with it. So there's a lot of problems that we're actually solving with this offer. So that's number one, and that's kind of the base. So for something like that, you can charge anywhere from $2,500 on the low end to probably close to $7,500 on the high, depending on how many videos you're doing. So the second variation of this offer is kind of similar, but we're actually tacking on posting content. So this is what this looks like. Basically, we're doing the exact same thing that we did in the first version, but instead of just giving them the content and they can kind of figure out what to do with it, we actually manage their social page. So what this does is it allows you to come up with all the strategy for the content, but you're also posting it. You're coming up with the captions, you're coming up with the hashtag ideas. There's multiple clients I've worked with in the past where they're like, yeah, we have a social management agency, but they just kind of make the most random captions that don't make any sense, right? So this is an opportunity for you to come in and not just be a guy that posts or a girl that posts for them, but actually thinks through, why are we writing the captions we're writing? And how does this actually relate to the overall strategy we're doing for the brand? So the problem that solves is, number one, the time of managing the page, but number two, the insights of being able to know what works and why it works and how to potentially rank on hashtags or potentially rank on location tags or whatever it might be. So for this offer of that quarterly content haul plus posting, typically I'll tack on an extra $1,000 to maybe $1,500 depending on the brand and depending on how involved we are with the posting. But it's something that's super simple. You can just outsource to someone else for a few $100 a month, and it's pretty much entirely profit as well. Which brings me to the third variation of this offer, which is going to be the same as the first two, but you're going to tack on a conversion aspect of this offer. So if a client has the attention of people, they have the viral videos, if they have somebody actually managing the page and kind of doing the stuff for them, what's going to prevent them from wanting to stay on retainer with us? Well, it's probably that they're not getting an ROI on their investment with us. So if they're spending $5,000 a month for us to do all this stuff, but they're not getting sales, then they're probably going to can us pretty soon. So we need to solve that problem for them. Now, there's a lot of ways you can do this, from optimizing their website to plugging in different sales mechanisms. But I'll just give you an example here of what if you created an automated sales mechanism for inbound DMs. So for example, you create a piece of content and it has a lead word where somebody comments whatever the word is, or they DM whatever the word is. Well, maybe we could plug in a setter that creates conversation with that person or answers, frequently asked questions, that kind of thing. And for this conversion strategy kind of variation of the offer, then depending on how you're doing it, if you have a person actually going in there and setting the DMs, then I would just take whatever their hourly wage is and then double that, and that's what you would charge the client. Or if you have some sort of like automated chat bot that you kind of just set up the flows and then kind of just implement it into the client business, then I would just charge them an additional monthly fee of whatever you want that to be, probably a few $100. So the three variations we have are the first one, which is a quarterly content haul, where you're basically taking care of the scripting, the strategy, the shooting, the editing, and giving them a bunch of final videos that they can post. And then on top of that, you're kind of consulting on how they can use it on social. The second variation is where we're tacking on actually managing the page, doing things like captions, hashtags, managing the posting schedule, all that kind of stuff. And then the last one is implementing a conversion strategy where we plug in a setter. Maybe we optimize their website conversion, or potentially we also do like a chat bot, something like that. So those are the three variations of the offers that I would implement if I were you in 2024. Now, if you want to know how to take that offer to the next level and actually know how to reach out to clients, how to sell this offer, how to position it, how to use proposals to actually make the sale, and then once you do get the sale, how to actually fulfill on it and actually do it and make sure that you're getting clients good results so you stay on retainer. And ultimately, if we're being honest, you just want to scale your content business to a minimum of 10K a month plus, then go ahead and click the link in the description below, schedule a call with a member of my team, and he's going to walk you through our precision prospecting framework that basically walks you A to Z on exactly how to do that for your business. And you'll be able to work one-on-one with me as well. So if that's something that you need in your business, then click the link in the description below, and we can't wait to talk to you.